All right, let's dive right into this explainer and break down what has to be one of the most absolutely mind-boggling athletic feats of 2026. We are unpacking Rachel Entrekin's outright victory at the Cocodona 250. And honestly, this isn't just a story about running. It's an absolute masterclass in pushing the outer limits of human physiology, mental endurance, and just flawlessly executed logistics. I want you to take a second and imagine trying to run 253 miles on rugged trails. I mean, that's a distance that completely shatters any normal concept of human endurance. We're not talking about jogging on a flat paved road here. We're talking about brutal elevation changes, freezing hailstorms, mud as thick as peanut butter, and pushing the human body way, way past the point of pure exhaustion.
Okay, now imagine completing that unimaginable distance in just 56 hours. Seriously, 56 hours. That means functioning on virtually zero sleep for more than 2 solid days. Not only did Rachel pull this off, but she secured a historic three-peat victory, yep, her third consecutive win, while finishing first overall and entirely beating the men's field. Just incredible.
Section 1. A historic course record. So going into the race, Rachel had this meticulous spreadsheet, but she couldn't figure out on paper how to get her calculated 61.5-hour goal under the 60-hour mark. But you know what she did out on the trail? She just threw the math completely out the window. She realized that rigid data can actually limit human potential, so she chose to run entirely on feel, intuition, and what she called a barely manageable pace. And the result? A sub-57-hour finish. No way, right?
So, how on earth do you shave off that much time? Well, she attributes this massive time drop to a highly specific formula. She says about 30% was sheer competitive pressure, and another 30% was this unexplainable race day flow state, something she playfully refers to as black magic. The rest of the puzzle? That was filled in by a deeply experienced, ruthlessly efficient professional crew and a highly dialed gear and nutrition plan that basically kept her moving forward without breaking down.
Section 2. Masterclass in Race Efficiency.
You know how in past races, runners might sit around, chat, maybe lazily change their clothes at aid stations? Yeah, not Rachel. Her crew literally kicked her out. She'd sit down briefly, but only to address immediate pressing issues, like taping up blisters. Her crew would swap her pack instantly, hand her food, and give her the strict command to eat and walk. Exiting these vital aid stations in as little as 90 seconds, she was literally forcing down savory potatoes and Coca-Cola while already hiking back onto the trail. And her physical execution? Absolutely bulletproof. She experienced virtually zero severe stomach issues, which, if you follow ultra running, is basically a miracle. How'd she do it? By blindly trusting her sports scientist. She took in a steady 60 grams of liquid and gel carbs per hour, paired with an extreme 1,550 milligrams of sodium to combat the fact that she's an incredibly salty sweater. She also fully trusted her gear, remarkably wearing a single pair of Norda 55 shoes for over 210 miles of the race. And get this, that pair already had 500 miles on them before she even crossed the starting line.
Section 3. The Kilian-Korth Rivalry. Now you might be wondering, what actually compels a human being to maintain such a relentless, punishing speed for over 2 days straight? Well, the answer is a single, determined competitor who flat out refused to let her coast, Kilian-Korth. The crucial takeaway here is that Kilian-Korth was basically acting as a relentless ticking clock. He stayed just 1.5 to 2 miles behind Rachel for almost the entire race. Think about that pressure. Every single time Rachel crushed a tough section and thought she had finally built a comfortable buffer, she'd arrive at the next aid station only to learn Kilian was still right there behind her. It forced her to completely abandon any sense of self-pity.
They were both out there suffering completely in tandem. At one point, during a freezing hailstorm, Rachel actually slipped on this sticky mud and fell straight through a cow grate, landing super hard on her hip. She lay there for a second, genuinely convinced she'd broken it, picturing Kilian showing up and finding her stuck in the grate like a cow. Meanwhile, Kilian was dealing with the exact same brutal elements, struggling through thick peanut butter mud where every single step forward meant sliding a whole foot backward. They literally pushed each other to the absolute brink of human sanity.
This whole incredible cat-and-mouse chase finally reached its peak at the Schnebly Hill aid station. Following her crew's strict orders, Rachel slipped out the back of a pitch-black tent, practically vanishing into the night just as a limping Kilian-Korth arrived. It was this perfectly timed, highly cinematic exit that ultimately sealed the psychological gap between them for that final stretch.
Section 4. Magic on Mount Eldon.
Mount Eldon actually used to be a place of dread for Rachel. Look at this progression over the years. Year 1, she was miserable, negative, and totally frustrated by it. Year 2, she consciously chose to practice guarded optimism. But by year 3, she arrived at the base of this massive climb, completely solo, experiencing a state of total empowerment and absolute readiness.
And right in the middle of this solo ascent, she had this profound, tearful encounter. A Native American Hopi woman stopped her right on the trail. The woman spoke to her about the divine feminine and told a weeping Rachel that the ripple effect of what she was doing out there in the mountains was far, far beyond what she could possibly comprehend.
Fueled by this incredible spiritual moment, Rachel tapped into an entirely new gear. The Hopi woman actually gave her some ground cornmeal, which Rachel rubbed directly onto her tired thighs for strength. Empowered by that connection, she literally set a personal record running up the steepest, hardest part of that final climb. She capped off this magical ascent by celebrating at the very top with a high five from fellow elite runner Jim Walmsley. Just an iconic moment.
Section 5. Elevating the sport.
So what does this all mean for the sport? Well, Rachel's 56-hour victory didn't just break course records, it completely transcended trail running as we know it. In a single week, she gained 120,000 new followers. Mainstream global media giants like NBC, ESPN, and the New York Times were suddenly calling, asking her how on earth you eat and sleep over 253 miles. It elevated women's athletics on a massive scale, proving the immense mainstream appeal of the raw, almost Hunger Games-style human drama that unfolds when athletes push themselves to the absolute limit in the woods. I want to leave you all with Rachel's final, profound takeaway from this historic achievement, because when you strip away the miles, the gear, and the spreadsheets, it really comes down to a simple question that challenges all of our perceived limits, no matter what we're pursuing. That question is, if somebody has to win, why can't it be you? Seriously, take a moment today to think about that massive goal sitting right in front of you. Why can't it be you?